فيليب بلومبرج هو رئيس مجموعة أمريكية عملاقة تعمل في مجالات متعددة. هو مستثمر قدم إلى مصر منذ فترة قصيرة وبدأ في مشروعات كبيرة ومشروعات عملاقة، وهو مقتنع تماما بأهمية الاستثمار في مصر ومقتنع تماما بأهمية دعم التعاون بين مصر والولايات المتحدة. بلومبرج سيكون أول مستثمر أمريكي وأجنبي يقيم مشروع على ضفاف قناة السويس الجديدة، وكان لنا معه هذا الحوار. سيد بلومبرج، الآن مصر على وشك الاحتفال بقناة السويس الجديدة وأنت تستثمر في مصر. في رأيك ما هي أهمية قناة السويس الجديدة والمشروعات العملاقة في مصر، سواء بالنسبة للاقتصاد المصري أو بالنسبة للمستثمر الأجنبي؟
Yes, it will. These are very important. You know, we've been coming to Egypt for 6 years. And only after President El-Sisi took office did we decide that we wanted to invest in Egypt. And the reason was, it was both a meeting I had with the president where he's very engaged. He may be among the most engaged heads of state I've met with. He knew the details of our project. He understood it fully. He negotiated directly with me to improve the economics for Egypt. But his focus has been on helping the Egyptian economy. And that inspires confidence because it means there'll be more projects to reinforce the investment atmosphere. You talk about the mega projects. These are infrastructure projects. And I think they're the most important thing to encourage investment, as well as IMF. Because when you see investment in infrastructure, it gives confidence to an investor that they won't be alone, that there'll be more. And when you talk about the Suez Canal, the new Suez Canal, that is very important to us because the manufacturing plant and export hub we want to build in Egypt relies on exporting. It will help Egypt be self-sufficient in food security. It'll employ 1,000 Egyptians immediately. It will also contribute $1 billion to the Egyptian economy first year, $7 billion over 5 years. So it has a high impact. The impact is also about exports. For us, it's important to be able to export throughout MENA into Africa and Europe. The Suez Canal, the new Suez Canal, improves our logistics capability to be an exporter throughout the region. So I would suggest to you that mega project Suez and the Suez Industrial District, very important for us in terms of locating our manufacturing plant. And we would be one of the first, potentially, to open a plant in the new Suez Industrial Park.
لك علاقات وثيقة بمجتمع الأعمال في الولايات المتحدة وبسياسيين وبأعضاء من الكونغرس. هل اختلفت نظرتهم إلى مصر الآن عما كانت عليه من قبل منذ عام أو عامين تقريبا؟
I would say we need to look at the Congress and the administration differently. I'm not very happy with our administration's approach to Egypt, to be honest. I think the Obama administration has missed a great opportunity. Egypt is the bulwark against terrorism. The president is willing to fight terrorism throughout the region. And we have not, I think at the president's administration, we have not embraced President El-Sisi as strongly as we would. I personally, having seen and worked with the president, am very warm towards him, and I trust this man. I feel confidence in Egypt. The Congress, however, feels very good, unlike the Obama administration, very good towards Egypt. There are congressmen who form the Egypt caucus. There are many who see Egypt now as a key ally with the U.S. in the Middle East. And I think that will be beyond defense. It will talk about commerce and trade. I know Egypt has entered the Eurasian trade zone, but I think the U.S., certainly now the Congress, looks at our project as one of those opportunities to establish a strong presence in the U.S. by a U.S. company in Egypt as part of the process of creating much stronger economic ties. In fact, as you know, Secretary Kerry will be in Egypt this Sunday, and that dialogue is about reaffirming the connections between Egypt and the U.S. I meet regularly with many of the congressional officials who are responsible for foreign affairs or the Senate Foreign Relations. They all talk about wanting closer ties with Egypt, needing closer ties with Egypt, and it starts with business. The final statement I make is Western companies are a little concerned about risk in the Middle East, not only Egypt, but the Middle East. I stand with Egypt. I believe in Egypt, and I believe in President El-Sisi. And I am willing to build my plant out of our resources, no money from anyone else, in Egypt because of that confidence. I think when we do that, it will be a signal to international business and U.S. business that it's time to come to Egypt. And that, I hope, is a strong statement that we can make in moving together in a partnership with Egypt.
تحدثت عن الحوار الاستراتيجي بين مصر والولايات المتحدة. في رأيك ما هي أهم النقاط التي يجب أن تركز عليها مصر، وما هي أهم النقاط التي يجب أن تركز عليها الولايات المتحدة من أجل إنجاح هذا الحوار؟
I think the dialogue, which is going to be a very quick discussion, but I think it will be continued at the UNGA. And I think we need to think of this as a first step in the beginning of the strengthening relationships with Egypt. I believe what we should expect is that Secretary Kerry will be very strong on the importance of very close relationships with Egypt in foreign policy, in commerce, in trade, and as an ally. And I think that it's important he make that statement, because you know that we've made the U.S. has given some other signals with regard to the Muslim Brotherhood and other things that suggested we had a separation from Egypt. I think the purpose of this dialogue is to deal with issues like Iran, where many Americans are not happy, and many in the Middle East are not happy, but also to deal with warming what happened when the Obama administration took too strong a stand, I believe, about the actions that the president took to suppress terrorism in Egypt and the Muslim Brotherhood. So I think what Egyptians should expect is this is the first official statement that we may have missed an opportunity. We're now here to renew our friendship and our warmth and our trade and our partnership between the two countries.
هل تعتقد أن الولايات المتحدة يمكن أن تقدم المزيد لدعم مصر في حربها ضد الإرهاب؟
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think I am sure that many congressional leaders feel exactly as I'm saying, because I've spoken to them. Egypt can be our primary ally in fighting terrorism. It is our primary ally. President El-Sisi is already battling terrorism in Libya and in Sinai. He's already dealing with issues in Sinai, going into Jordan and Israel and elsewhere. He has proven that he is the strongest leader in opposing terrorism. You know, many do it with words, but President El-Sisi does it with action. And the action is what the American people want to see. So I think in Congress, many feel we need to support the Egyptian military stronger. We need to support the Egyptian government stronger in their anti-terrorism. But I also think the American people will look and say, here's a man who took a terrorist organization and put it behind bars. Here's a man who is fighting terrorism on all fronts. We should be supplying military and economic aid to Egypt because they're not just talking. And I think that's a sentiment American people, my company, and Congress has.
أنت تزور مصر كثيرا وتلتقي بفئات مختلفة. كيف ترى علاقة الشعب برئيس السيسي ومدى دعم الشعب المصري للرئيس السيسي؟
Oh, you know, that's one of the nicest experiences I faced in Egypt. When I came during the transition governments, the people were very skeptical. When I came during the Muslim Brotherhood, people were very depressed. And nothing happened. Nothing. No economic growth. I remember when he was elected, we came in June. My staff and I came. And you saw joy in the people's hearts. You saw optimism and hope. It's hard to get things going as fast as the people expect. But I'm here to say that because of President Sisi, we would look to invest $250 million in Egypt, in processing plants, in factories, and in employment. And I think the Egyptian people are waiting to see that happen. So the faster we're able to conclude our contracts with Egypt, the faster I will start my plant, construction of my plant. We currently have projects in Egypt for Shona redevelopment to help the farmers and the grain. And as you remember last year, the President and the Minister of Supply announced 10 logistics hubs we would build. With those contracts in place, and you know, bureaucracy holds things up sometimes, but once those are in place, I will immediately begin developing this manufacturing plant. We will do so where the Egyptian government prefers, but I like the Suez or even Damietta. But the Suez is very intriguing for us. We'll begin immediately. I think when that happens, the Egyptian people will now look and say, there's proof of what's happening with the president. But as we're in Egypt, I am constantly impressed at the genuine support the warmth and the optimism the Egyptian people have because of the new president. We want to be there to show in